Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Eczema Warrior podcast. Today is Saturday, October 5th. Today's actually a really hot day in Medellin. This morning, I went for a walk to get some groceries, and it was just like a 5-minute walk down the street. And I was sweating. I was like, it's hot today, but I love it. If you guys know me, you know I love being in hot weather. Tropical places are like my vibe. Obviously, Medellin is not like tropical because it's not by the beach, but the weather is super nice. It's pretty much warm all year long, but it's not uncomfortably warm. So you can still wear pants, you can still wear jeans. And then sometimes it even gets like rainy and a little bit chilly. So I have like my sweaters and stuff if I ever want to be cozy once in a while. So, as the time of this episode is being released, actually, I'm on a 2-week holiday in Colombia. And so, I'm actually going to be traveling around going to Cartagena, which is like a beach town here in Colombia, Guatape, which is this really cute colonial town just about like an hour and a half away. I've been there before. And I'm going to be pretty much out of office for the 2 weeks. I'm not going to be posting as much over the next 2 weeks, except for these podcast episodes. I'm just going to be around Colombia, going to be doing this boat tour to the beautiful islands. It's called Rosario Islands, which is, I can't remember exactly how long it takes to get from Cartagena, the beach town, to there, because I did it last year. I think it was like an hour boat ride or something. And I'm really excited for that because I am such a beach girl. I miss the ocean. It's like so healing for me. And then spending a night in Guatape, gonna walk around and enjoy the little cute town, go for good food. I'm going to a concert actually at this big stadium. I have not been to a big concert in like the longest time. And it's someone called Armin van Buren. For my EDM lovers, trance lovers, you guys know who Armin van Buren is. He's the OG DJ that I used to listen to when I was like 20. So it's been like so long, 10 years. I used to go to so many raves back then. And he's coming here to Medellin. I'm like, that's interesting. Like, out of all places, he's coming to Medellin. I didn't know Colombians listen to Armin. I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I'm there. Maybe it's just going to be a bunch of gringos, is what the locals call us because we're not from here. But I'm going to be doing that on one of the weekends. So I'm excited. And then after these 2 weeks of traveling around, I guess, I'm actually moving into a new home. This place that I've been living at has always been temporary because I realize it's really small. It's a beautiful apartment, stunning views, but the construction here is absolutely wild. For anyone who's planning to come down to Colombia, like be careful. Like, this is a tip for you guys. Be careful when you are looking for places. Like, make sure you read the listings to see if there's anything about construction, because this whole city right now is like going through construction. And so even though I'm on one of the top floors, I can still hear it, which is why I spend most of my day working at the cafe because it's not as loud. And I record my podcast episodes on the weekend. I like it to do on the weekend, but also it's more quiet on the weekend. So it's a little bit unfortunate. The construction here is too much. And there was one night, oh my gosh, I was so pissed off. And I don't get pissed that easily, I don't think. But 3 nights ago, 1 in the morning, there was jackhammering for like 2 hours, 1 in the morning. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, excuse my language, but why are they doing construction at 1 in the morning? I couldn't figure out where it was. Like, was it like close to me or was it far? Like, it felt like it was right beside my ear, but it was so dark outside, like I couldn't see where exactly it was coming from. Anyways, like things like that, you just do have to be mindful of when you're living in like the center of the city. It's just a lot going on. So, with that being said, my friends and I are going to move into another place outside of the city, which I'm actually really excited for because when you live in Medellin for a long time, you start to realize that you don't actually want to live in the city. You want to do a little bit on the outskirts, but close enough that you can come and do whatever you need to do in the actual city. So, more updates on that later on. But this episode and the next episode, you're going to see this background, and then I'm going to be in a completely new place. So, stay tuned. Okay, today's episode, let's get into it. I don't want to keep these episodes too long. I feel like I ramble a lot. Is how to listen to your body. This is so key when it comes to addressing any of the symptoms that you guys are experiencing and figuring out exactly what is going on. Now, obviously, when you are trying to figure out why you're having eczema flares, why you're having all these gut issues, why you're chronically fatigued, there's root causes. And sometimes it does, well, most of the time, it does take a clinician to be able to assess what those root causes are because we are trained in doing that. We look at blood work, we do our clinical assessments, nutrition assessments, and things like that. However, you can actually figure a lot of these things out on your own. And let's say, you're not able to afford working with a practitioner, that makes sense, then you can figure out these things on your own. And it comes down to really listening to your body. And what that means is basically observing your symptoms, acknowledging that they're there, and realize that your body is always communicating with you in different symptoms, different signals, sensations, mood changes. And so we really have to tune into what our bodies are telling us when things are out of balance. Because when you're experiencing these symptoms, it's basically something's out of balance. Oftentimes, when we feel these symptoms, we get really frustrated and upset. And I understand, when you have these chronic inflammation like eczema and you're feeling bloated all the time, you feel bad, right? You don't feel good. But when we start to shift that perspective as to like why this is happening to me, to okay, what is my body actually telling me? Then this is first of all going to help you feel a little bit better because you're not going to feel like a victim and you're not going to feel like everything is going wrong because really it's not. It's your body is like, hey, Julia, hey, Alice, hey, Andrea, I'm trying to communicate with you to let you know that I need some support here. I need some love. I need some TLC. And this is why I'm showing you these symptoms because I just want you to listen to me. And that's what it comes down to, right? Is listening to your body and trying to connect the dots to see why these symptoms are happening. Your body will communicate to you through emotional symptoms, physical symptoms, mental symptoms. So if you're experiencing bloating, if you're experiencing insomnia, it's showing you that these symptoms are because of a reason, because of something going on in your life. So, one thing I like to tell my clients and recommend you guys is to start keeping track of when you're having these symptoms, like keeping a journal or some kind of tracker and see what is going on. Because if you don't write things down, you don't remember, right? I don't remember what I ate yesterday. I don't remember what I felt like last week. So keeping a journal is a first step to identifying what is going on. Maybe you're having worse flares this week because last week you slept poorly. You slept only 5 hours a night because you've been stressed because of work. Maybe you're experiencing flares because last week you drank too much alcohol. Maybe you're experiencing flares because 2 months ago you were chronically stressed and you didn't manage your stress and now your body is catching up. Maybe you're having all this constipation and bloating because you're not eating enough fiber in your diet. Maybe you're not drinking enough water. Maybe you've had a lot of stress and anxiety over the past few days. Like there's so many different factors that can cause these symptoms. But instead of getting upset as to why these symptoms are happening, it's like, okay, how can I tune into my body and like really ask myself, how have I been feeling over the past few days, few weeks? And if you ask yourself that question, I bet you can find a reason. You can probably be like, you know what? Actually, last week, I had a really rough week at work. Actually, last week, I got into a fight with my friend and I was really sad. Actually, last week, there was one night where I got zero sleep, right? Like there's so many different things that could happen on the day to day, but it's about reflecting and thinking about, okay, what is really going on? I had a really interesting group call with my new membership, by the way. I forgot to mention that I launched my new membership, the Gut Brain Skin Restoration Club. Beautiful members inside the club. I'm so excited. We had our very first call last week, and it was really empowering and inspiring to hear that everyone is just going through the same thing in terms of the eczema flares and trying to figure out what it is. And what I realized from seeing my clients last week in that group, and also just clients in general, is our symptoms aren't actually caused by what you think it is. A lot of times, I'm hearing like, oh, I'm flaring because of my pollen allergies, or I'm flaring because I ate a burger yesterday or something. What I actually noticed too is that a lot of the symptoms and the flares that my clients are experiencing, it's because of the constant worrying and the overthinking about the flare itself. So basically, it's not about what they ate and what supplements they're taking. It's really about the fact that they're thinking about their skin all the time, thinking about their gut issues all the time, just like not feeling good. And so sometimes when you're trying to figure out where your flares are coming from, it's almost like you need to take a step back and think about, okay, am I just over worrying and overthinking about what it is that maybe I just need to like take a day to myself and just calm my nervous system for a second. Because the constant doing and thinking and wondering and stressing is only going to make matters worse, and it's only going to make your symptoms worse, right? I have seen clients who literally have seen breakthroughs in their healing from doing less and seeing more healing simply by just listening to their body and not forcing things that don't align with what they're actually trying to do. I've done this before where I feel like I need to restrict my diet, feel like I have to go on these supplements and stuff like that. But when I start to do those things, I'm not actually listening to what my body actually needs. When you stop doing those things and start listening to what your body actually needs, really sitting down and asking yourself, okay, what is it that my body is telling me? Then that's when you're actually going to see a lot more healing, because you no longer focus on things that don't work for you. And you're going to start focusing on things based on what your body is asking you. There's always a correlation with your symptoms to what is going on with your life. I know it's difficult to figure out what that is, especially if a lot of you have been in a chronic state of inflammation for several months, maybe even up to a year. There's a reason for that, right? When you start healing your body inside out through a sustainable approach, through the right nutrition, the right supplements, a lot of mindset work, nervous system regulation, you are going to heal. There's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't heal if you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, right? But if you do the things that don't align with you and you're just like overthinking and stressing and obsessing and wondering if it's ever going to get better and just the constant worry, then it's going to feel like the things that you're doing aren't working. It's obviously easier said than done, right? It's very hard to like not think about your skin or not over worry about it. But I promise you, you guys, like take a step back and just sit with yourself and just breathe, because your body is already in fight or flight. You don't want to cause more stress on the body. So my tips when it comes to how to tune into your body's signals and symptoms and listen to it is, like I mentioned earlier, you can do symptom journaling, right? Keeping track of your symptoms, noticing any patterns, if your flare-ups are linked to food, if it's linked to poor sleep, if it's linked to stress, write those things down. And don't forget that stress doesn't have to be just your day-to-day work, your day-to-day relationships. It's also stress from your condition. So really think about that. If maybe the reason why you're flaring is maybe because you're thinking about your flares all the time. Doing a body scan, checking in with your body and how it feels regularly. Like maybe they'll do a check-in every night or every morning. Okay, how was my day today? How did I feel? And write that down, because that can tell you a lot. And so all of this really is just mindfulness, right? Tuning in and focusing on yourself, slowing down, quieting the mind. That makes it easier to listen to your body's signals. When you're overthinking and like wondering and doing all these diets and supplements and asking yourself, why am I flaring? Why is this happening? Da 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 da, right? That's a lot of noise in your head. It's going to make things very confusing. And so we have to learn to quiet the mind. And once we quiet the mind and actually start doing the things that I mentioned, then it's going to be much more easier in understanding what your body is trying to tell you. I hope that makes sense for today's episode. I know it's not easy, but try it and let me know. You know your body best at the end of the day, but we have to allow ourselves to really understand what is going on, right? We can't allow it when we're just panicking and flustered all the time. So this is a reminder to slow down and take a step back in what you're doing right now, because if it's not working and you're doing a lot, then that says a lot. And if you need support when it comes to healing your body, figuring out the connection between your flare-ups and your gut, your mindset, your stress, this is what I do inside my coaching programs. I have my one-on-one coaching right now. I have currently one more spot left for one-on-one coaching if you need more support in a more personalized way. Otherwise, I have my Gut Brain Skin Restoration Club. That one is a membership. It's a group program. And so if you value community and you want to get support from me in a group setting, have the right tools to heal your body and your symptoms inside out, you can join the membership in the show notes below. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one.